Hi everyone, my name's Tim. Today I'm going to be reviewing A Bond Undone, book number 2 in the Legend of the Condor Heroes, volume 2, by Jin Yong. So this is a book series, Legend of the Condor Heroes, which is huge in China. It says here, a Chinese Lord of the Rings. It sold 100 million copies. They think maybe up to 300 million pirated copies. In China, it was written in the 50s, I want to say. Um, but it's set in um, way back when, in the Jin and Song dynasty eras of China, where Genghis Khan is about to invade. So this is pre Genghis Khan invasion. Book one, which is called A Hero Born, which I have here. Oh, I'm going to take out the rest of my bookcase. Yeah, book one is about Jin Yong as a child. Yeah, so this one's set in 1200. So, is about Jin Yong as a child, as his father Sky Fury Guo is killed in action fighting against the evil Jin invaders, and his son ends up in Mongolia and is basically adopted by Genghis Khan and is betrothed to one of his daughters, I believe. Though he is in love with someone else. He's in love with Lotus Wang. And in the end, I think he also ends up being betrothed to someone called Mercy Moo, who is out looking like almost like a grifter and has something called Duel for the Maiden, where you have to fight her in combat, and if you win, you get her hand in marriage. And he wins that. So he actually ends up at the end of this book in love with one woman and engaged to two other women in different countries. So Bond Undone, betrothals. So this takes place straight away after this. So that's why I kind of said they're volumes rather than books, rather than individual books. So I'm going to read the next two pretty soon. I want to read the next two this year just so I have it really fresh in my mind, because this took me a while to figure out. Wait, where are we? Who's here? Who's that? Where's this? Because it just jumps straight into it, like incredibly. So this is about Guo Jing and Lotus Huang. Guo, again, apologies for pronunciations. I'm not Chinese, but he is. I love him so much because he is so honourable and honest and hardworking, and he ends up being a great kung fu master by the end of this. His kung fu progresses so much in this story because of who he bumps into, but he's still an idiot. He's still really stupid, and not in like he needs to do stupid stuff for the plot to move forward. Stupid, like he knows that he's not very bright, so he just learns things by just memorization. Like he's like, I don't understand any of this, but I know this because I've been taught it, and that's how he has to learn. And that comes up a lot in this book, because what he does is 25 years before these books, there was a great contest between the five martial masters in China. And one of them, after they fight for a week, one of them is deemed the winner and gets to look after this thing called the Nine Yin Manual. And this is the highest form of kung fu is in this book. It's 2 volumes. This Nine Yin Manual, and what happens in the end is what happens throughout the story is Guo Jing meets 3 of these martial masters. He meets the beggar of the north, who is like, he looks like a beggar and he looks after all the beggars. He ends up training with him a lot, primarily because Lotus Wang just keeps giving him really tasty food, and the Beggar King's like, hey man, you keep giving me food, I might keep teaching you stuff. Then you've got the Heretic of the East, who has his own island that's set up and everyone gets lost on the island. It's like really like Bond villainy. But he is Lotus Huang's father. And then you have someone called the Venom of the West, and his nephew is called Galant Ulang, and he's in love with Lotus Huang, and he is like, one thing I noticed in this book, everyone, it's pretty obvious who's good and who's bad, but in this one I found it a bit more like, well, I like them, but they're fighting these people, but I also like them, so who's the bad guy in this situation? A little bit more of that, but that might just be me getting confused from having not read the previous book for a couple of years. So yeah, Guo Jing learns so much from these different people, and then he ends up meeting this crazy guy on an island, and the crazy guy ends up teaching him loads of stuff. So Guo Jing's kung fu like greatly accelerates throughout this book. Meanwhile, the sworn brother of Guo Jing, someone called Wanyang Kang, his father was best friends with Guo Jing's father, and when Guo Jing's father died, they said, "Oh, if I have a son and you have a daughter, they will be married. If not, they will be sworn brothers." And this is like the sword, the dagger, I think, that they give to each other to kind of show this is their bond. And then Wanyang Kang gets adopted by the Jin prince, the sixth prince of the Jin Empire, and lives this life of luxury, and he gets the best kung fu teachers, and he is like, it's almost like Prince and the Pauper in a way. And in this book, Wanyang Kang learns of his true heritage. He learns that the prince's consort is actually his mother, and the prince, he meets his real father, Ironheart Yang, and he has to make a decision. Do I go with my sworn brother, Guo Jing, and fight the Jin Empire? But this man has raised me and has loved me in his own way. And so he has a really big key decision to make. And I really hope, and that has an impact on his partner, his love interest, someone called Mercy Mu, who does the Jewel of the Maiden. Wanyang Kang also wins that, and they fall in love. So they have a interesting relationship compared to Guo Jing and Lotus Huang, and I wanted more of Wanyang Kang in this, just because, but the book's like 500 pages, and it's just, I find that really interesting. So I hope it comes up more in the later books, because he's on a real different path, and I really want to see where that goes. Meanwhile, you also hear one of the main kind of villains in the first book is a woman called Cyclone May, who has this terrible kung fu, and she's blind, and you learn a lot more about her and her history, with the heretic of the East, on Peach Blossom Island. Oh, the names and the kung fu. Oh, it's just, this book is just so cool. It's just so cool. Like, if you like Crouch Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or House of the Flying Daggers, or even like Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, that kind of kung fu wuxia kind of movies, like these books are that. There's so much kung fu, and you have so many different fights where they're each trying different moves, and the way it's, so even the opening is, so I'm just going to read you the very quick opening, because this just starts right in the middle of the action. "I won!" Giggling and triumphant, Lotus Huang headed for the doors. "You are disciple of twice-foul Dark Wind." Tiger Peng leapt out to block her. "I won't make trouble with you, but you cannot leave until you explained why your Shifu sent you here. You promised to let me go if you couldn't name the school of my kung fu within 10 moves. Surely a martial master like you would not go back on your word. Your last move, hallowed turtle steps, is part of twice-foul Dark Wind's repertoire. Who else could have taught you that? Do you really think their pottery skills are worthy of my attention? I have never met twice-foul Dark Wind. We won't be fooled by your lies." So, like, the guy's like, "Hey, I'll fight you in 10 moves and I'll know who your teacher is." Like, it's just so kung fu. It's just so cool. And most of the action is described by what moves they are doing. Most of their is described by kind of what they're doing. Oh, he enters this technique, he enters this technique. And so your mind can just kind of come up with what it is. It's almost a bit like William Goldman in the Princess Bride. So Guo Jing ends up kind of learning so much about Kung Fu, so he's in a great place at the end of this. But then there's a big cliffhanger, and you don't know what's going to happen. But his main goal is to get his the heretics approval to marry his daughter. That's his whole aim in this. We get a little bit of the Mongolian stuff. They come up very briefly, and I'm hoping that comes up more in the later books, because this is very much focused on Guojing and Lotus Huang. And like the finale, there's like a trial between Galan Ulang and Guojing for Lotus Huang's hand in marriage, and it's really obvious that the heretic, the father, doesn't want Guojing because he's an idiot and he's a simpleton and he's poor and he's lower class. You know, he wants this other person who is very smart and wise and knows the arts and has good blood, you know, to marry his daughter. But he comes up with a trial which he thinks is the perfect thing that Guojing can't win. But actually, just by happenstance, Guojing is just like, by pure his attitude of learning things, that I'm just going to learn this by heart. I don't understand it, but I'm just going to learn it by heart and just keep doing it, and eventually I might get it. Just ends up being perfect. And I had the biggest smile on my face when reading it. There is, I would say, there is a bit of tragedy here with Cyclone May's character. I don't think anyone dies. I can't remember anyone dying in this. Not like properly. So it's quite light in that sense, but there is a lot of violence. Also, Galan Ulang has like a harem of like lots of women, and it's never expressed kind of what he does to these women, but he's not very kind to them, and he doesn't take no for an answer. I'll just leave it like that. But I think you won't pick up on it too much if you're not. You can just read it as it is if you've got children. I wouldn't necessarily. So the writing style, this has been translated from the Chinese by Gigi Shang, and I think it's got quite a classic way of speaking. It's not incredibly emotional. The prose is very functional, I would say. It is Ouyang, not Ulang. Anyway, but I don't think that deters anything from this. This is a 5-star read from me. I loved the first one. I loved that. That was 5 stars, and I spent years looking in every bookshop for the sequels. And in the end, I just had to get them off Amazon, which I know is bad, but I got them. So I've got, this is a Bond Undone, which is volume 2. And then you've got 2 more volumes. Oh, my whole bookshelf is about to collapse. Oh, it's just balancing there. So volume 3 is A Snake Lies Waiting. And then volume 4, the final volume, is A Heart Divided. And that's a big chunky book. I think that's over 600 pages. Or almost. Yeah. This book is wicked. Like, I just love this book. So yeah, 5 stars. Honestly, if you like fantasy, because it is a fantasy story, because crazy things happen. If you like epics, if you like almost mythical storytelling, and if you like kung fu movies, or you like kung fu, then I would really, really recommend this. Anyway, I'll see you later. Thanks. Bye.